So can I read like this? Can I put the Quran like this? What are you doing? Hold on, that's already legislated how you should pray. So that's where you can't do that, right? Now some scholars have said that, okay, if the imam is leading in Tarawih during the special prayers in Ramadan, and there's no one behind him to correct him, so he might get stuck and so they said it's okay if someone's behind him following to okay, you just messed up, okay, this is it. And they said that is allowed because there's a purpose now for that. Or else, if he gets stuck and no one's there, then guess what? He has to, end the prayer, and people get confused and so forth like that. But if somebody in the fifth line in the back is holding their book, that's not doing anything. So we said that it's better for you not to do that, and just focus on heaven and hell. Look at the carpet and put yourself in a spiritual. I know everyone's tired. It's hard. We all know it's hard to stay there for an hour and a half and pray, right? So, but that needs working. That needs presence of the heart. Yeah, of course, Arabic helps out too. Even though I know Arabic now, it has helped a lot.
And
but
some people say it is allowed in doing nawafil. When
Well,
we are doing nawafil at home,
Right.
we can hold the Quran.
Well, so Tarawih is a nafil prayer also, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
So here, that it's better just to keep, because here, like he's saying, guess what? Your hands now are supposed to be here. Now you're holding it, so you have excess motion. And we all know when you go down to prayer, what are you going to do with that Quran? People usually put it on the ground, which is another disrespect of the Quran. And if you try to hold it up, when you make it sujood, you're doing this thing, and then you have something else going on now, right? And then the phone is something totally different, because the phone does something else, not just reading Quran, but what does it do? It emits light, right? And sometimes your text messages come up while you're reading the Quran. So, and the Lakers score comes up also on your ESPN app and all this stuff, right? So, and also there's a person next to them because there's this light emitting there, and so that's another issue.
It kind of it has to be hard bit too,
Yeah. Yeah. And you have the person you're praying, that guy next to you, he has to put his password in to open the phone, and then he has to open the app, and then I'm doing it, and then when he goes to ruku, he has to take off his phone, and then when he opens it again, he has to put the password in again, and then you see this guy is like, oh my, I'm just trying to
Why the Imam doesn't tell these things before starting all these,
Why do they mention it?
Why don't they mention it?
Yeah, they should. And I think sometimes people have allowed it because they feel bad for people for not paying attention. They're not being able to pay attention. Guess what? Muslims have not been able to pay attention for prayer since the beginning, for 1,400 years. And Islam grew into countries where they didn't speak Arabic, like me and you, right? And so that's not necessary. If that was the case, then that would have been done a long time ago. Where it would have been known, everybody, open up your prayer, pull out your pocket when you're about to pray, and let's go, right? That would have been done a long time ago. So that's not something that, that's not known to how you're supposed to worship. So that's where we say that, just work on your concentration and so forth. I know it's tough, but we all know. But like I said, there's a lot of things. Maybe you want a whole other segment on how to solve that, maybe another time, inshallah. Good, inshallah. Let's go to hadith number 6. Hopefully, inshallah, you guys, if you have any questions on that, let me know. If not, I hope that you see how important the hadith is, how it can answer a lot of questions for you throughout your life.
What is the actual meaning of hadith?
Hadith is basically the literal meaning means to speak or to discuss or to narrate, right? And so we say a hadith of the Prophet, we said it covers 5 things. So we said the sayings of the Prophet, his actions. I saw the Prophet, when he was eating, he ate with his right hand. Now the Prophet never said that, but I saw him eating with his right hand, right? So, or a hadith could be a narration about something the Prophet approved. Meaning that what? We were in front of the Prophet, and this guy punched this guy in the nose. And the Prophet didn't say anything. So guess what? We could punch someone in the nose then. We don't have that. We don't have that hadith, you know what I mean? So we have a hadith that the Prophet ate. Sorry, the Sahaba ate. It's kind of a lizard. It's like a lizard in the desert they had. It's called the. Right. So he ate this lizard, and the Prophet watched him, but he didn't say that's haram, that's halal. So that means that it was permissible. It was okay. Or else, because he's a prophet, he has to talk out if he sees something wrong. He can't see someone stealing and go. He can't. That's not his job. His job is to call things out, if you will. So we say what? His sayings, his actions, and things he approved of. And then they add 2 more categories where they said that his internal character and external character. This is from the first class that we did in the first week. So that's how we define hadith.
But who narrated, on these hadiths?
Right, sorry.
So
He is asking who narrated.
Who narrated the hadith?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, like who were the Sahaba were companions
Well, the
was.
companions here narrated these hadith. I don't know if that was your question.
It's like, so it's actions?
So yeah, so here I saw the Prophet, when he prayed, he put his hands on his chest. He put his hands on by his stomach. That's an action of the Prophet. A saying of the Prophet would be, I was eating and the Prophet told me, oh young boy, eat with your right hand. So we have a hadith like that, right? So here this is a direct,
Hadith with action and saying?
and sayings.
Let's go.
And then we said also his approvals. We were eating this desert lizard in front of the Prophet, and he didn't say anything. So that means he approved it. Because if it was wrong, he would have said something. And if it was right, then he would have, I understood that was right, so therefore he didn't say anything, if you will. So that's what we call approval, it's called taqrir. These are different categories of things that happened during the time of the Prophet. So they'll have hadith that during the time of the Prophet we would do this. Meaning that the Prophet allowed that. Like for example, the hadith of the Ethiopian slaves wrestling in the masjid. The Prophet saw that. He didn't say, go wrestle. He didn't say, we don't have a hadith that the Prophet wrestled. But we have a hadith where the Prophet saw them wrestling in the masjid with his wife Aisha. And he didn't say, haram, halal, nothing. He just let it go. That means that what? We could do that. Right? So those are part of hadith narrations also. So you have that, if you will. Right? The young kids love the hadith, so they go and wrestle in the masjid. The Arab kids more than the Desi kids for some reason. So if you do wrestle in the masjid, just don't make too much noise. Okay, so we have hadith number 6. Let's see if we can squeeze this in for today. عن أبي عبد الله النعمان بن بشير رضي الله عنهما قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن الحلال بين وإن الحرام بين وبينهما أمر مشتبهات لا يعلمهن كثير من الناس فمن اتقى الشبهات فقد استبر لدينه وعرضه ومن وقع في الشبهات وقع في الحرام كراعي يرعى حول الحمى يوشك أن يرتع فيه ألا وإن لكل ملك همة وأما لإن حمى الله محارمه ألا وإن في الجسد مضغمة وإذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله وألا وهي القلب. This hadith is one of the amazing hadith. Like you guys are getting drops of gems today in these two hadith here. So the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, I heard on the authority of Nu'man ibn Bashir, I heard the Messenger of Allah said, that which is lawful is clear. That which is haram is clear. Okay? Praying, lawful. No one argues about that. Eating pork, it's very clear. We all know. No one says that, yeah, you can, no, you can't. If you cook it this way, very clear. We're not supposed to that. Worshipping idols, we all know. Very clear. You're not supposed to be doing stuff like that. But between these two things, there are doubtful matters. This food was cooked this way. Is it haram, halal? Right? Could we worship this way? Haram, halal? We don't know. He said that many people don't know of. Exactly. Right? Thus, who avoids the doubtful matters, I'm not sure if we're supposed to eat that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to worship this way. Clears himself of his religion as honor. Meaning clears himself from blame. Clears himself from being fallen to sin. In terms of his religion and his honor. But who falls into doubtful matters eventually falls into what is unlawful. Like the shepherd who pastures around a sanctuary. A shepherd, well, we know shepherd has, let's say, sheep, right? And you know that's someone else's land. But he's taking his sheep and he's getting really close, right? And so he's like a shepherd, and that's a sanctuary. That's a preserved area, protected area, if you will. Right? That's a national park. Yosemite starts right there. You can't be going eating the grass in Yosemite, right? You can get caught, right? You can't go chop down the trees in Yosemite. You go to jail, right? You can't go hunting in Yosemite, right? So here that the shepherd comes close to a pasture around a sanctuary, but then grazes therein, starts getting closer, and then he ends up falling into it. Because what happened, he doesn't see that there's no fence, right? There's no sign that says, hey, now you're in the land of so-and-so. If you trespass, you'll be shot, right? You don't have that sign there. So you don't know, guess what? He's all in someone else's land. Truly, every king has a sanctuary, has something that's preserved, protected. And truly Allah's sanctuary is His prohibitions, right? So therefore, don't fall into that. Truly in the body, there's a morsel of flesh. And if it becomes whole and righteous, the whole body becomes whole and righteous. And if it becomes disease, then guess what? The whole body becomes disease, and that is the heart. That's what the Prophet did. And you understand the wisdom of the Prophet when he threw down the hadith right there? You could write a whole book on this thing. Not a book, but volumes. This is also one of the hadith that the scholars have said that the religion revolves around. This hadith, the hadith that we just took before, and the hadith about intentions that they mentioned. Those are the three. So all the scholars added a fourth one, which we'll go over later on, if you will. And you can see that this covers so much. You see how well the hadith we just took plays into this hadith. We talk about whatever the Prophet whoever invents something of our religion that's not from it is rejected. And then you ask yourself, I don't know if it's rejected. Guess what? This hadith kicks in now. If it's doubtful, guess what? I don't want to do it. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't feel comfortable worshiping that. I don't feel comfortable eating this type of food. I don't know. So guess what? You stay away. Or guess what? You fall into the protected area, and guess what? You fall into what? Haram, if you will. You see the wisdom behind that, right? That's why the Prophet we just followed him, and he has an amazing amount of wisdom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him. So let's go over the wording of the hadith, inshallah ta'ala. That which is lawful is clear, and that which is unlawful is clear, and between them are doubtful matters. So here we understand that matters are in three categories. Number one, that is what's clearly lawful. Consuming fruits, vegetables. There's nothing that we know that there's nothing prohibition like that, if you will. The 5 daily prayers, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, had the hunting animals. Allah allowed that. Don't worry about if that's, right or wrong. Killing animals for sport is different. We said that before. That's not allowed, right? Obviously, we don't really do that. We don't hunt anymore for eating anymore, but rarely we do that. And that is clearly unlawful is prohibited. Adultery, right? Stealing, murder, drinking alcohol. That's well known. No one says, I think a murder should be okay. I think we should steal. Sometimes okay. Sometimes people need to be stealing. No one says that. That's clearly unlawful, right? And then there's the doubtful matters, number 3. Okay. So doubt usually occurs. So why is there doubt? Why do people have doubt for certain things? Usually because of 3 matters. Number 1, they don't know the authenticity of a proof. So I tell you, you know what, Brother Corey, you're supposed to do this because there's this verse in the Quran, or because there's a hadith, if you will, or hadith, I should say. Well, I don't know if that's true, if that's not true. People don't know sometimes. Where did you get that from? Number 2, okay, that hadith might be true, but is it for that specific case? Could you use a hadith to say that we can eat this? Right? How do I know that fits this case? Maybe it's talking about something else. So therefore, we don't know if it's that for that. You're using the hadith in the right domain, right? Some people, use hadith, but they say, oh, it's okay to eat this, okay to do that, right? Well, hold on, that's hadith is talking about something else, not talking about that, right? And then number 3, deriving that rule from that proof. Okay, yes, that hadith is talking about food. Now, is that saying that it's halal for us to eat? Does it say it's recommended for us to eat? Is it saying it's prohibited for us to eat? What is it saying? Oh, okay, I don't know about the ruling of it. You understand how the 3 different levels are? So people have these doubts in these 3 different ways, if you will. Okay. Questions on that?
An explanation is not a proof.
An explanation is not a proof? What do you mean?
Oh, it's this, it's like a quote from Gary Miller.
Oh.
And he said in Islam, that's the difference from other religions. They give you a list of 10 things to prove that this book is wrong. They give you 10 things, or not 10 things, I'd say just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like Einstein, that's why it made him more believable. Here's some things to prove this is wrong, and here's some things to prove that this will work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a genius type thing.
Okay.
But he said
I think when you translate to like for the Trinity, for example, you can explain it, but that's not proof that that's
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a possibility for it? Sure. Before you have proof, sure. But then you have to bring your proof that is the case.
Right, just explain. Okay,
It
gotcha.
might sound like
Exactly.
Make it sound beautiful.
A lot of people do that even within Islam. Right.
The more and more they make it sound.
Yeah,
the more
yeah.
believable.
Someone who has a lot of charisma and really good with words, like a lawyer, could make it sound like, yeah, I'm supposed to go to this gravesite, I'm supposed to do this, and then God will bless me. Yeah. Oh wow, you're so smart. Right. So that's another issue. Right. So here, good. There we go. So which most people do not know. Okay, because of 4 main aspects causes why people don't know. Number 1, people have a lack of knowledge. So that's what you have to study. You have to understand your religion very much. That's why the scholars have said, okay, I'm just going to stay away from that. Didn't miss it. So lack of knowledge. So if you have to study and know very much as possible and get to know what your religion. You're following it, you should know it, inshallah ta'ala. Number 2, lack of comprehension. You studied it, you got it down, but you can't comprehend exactly what's the point of that hadith. What is the point of that verse, if you will? Number 3 is lack of awareness, where people don't know there might be another proof somewhere else, another hadith that qualifies this hadith, another hadith that conditions this hadith. There's a verse in the Quran that says this, if you will, right? Etc., etc., etc. Right? So, for example, if you read the verse in Surah Ma'idah, chapter number 5 in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you want to pray, then guess what? Wash your arms to your elbows, and then what? To wash your face, and then to wipe your head, and then to wash your feet. And the Quran mentions how many things? 4. So someone says, guess what? I only have to do this. So where does washing your mouth and washing your nose and wiping your ears, where does that all come from? So, I didn't know that. I have a lack of awareness. Right? So, anyhow, so it's good that you know more than, I didn't know that, if you will. Okay, so therefore, yeah, you have to know, that's right. So you have to understand that the more you know, basically, it's going to come and everything will be put together. That's why scholars are amazing individuals, because they have this awareness. They studied, right? So they know this hadith that say this, and there's a verse in the Quran say this, and da-da-da-da-da, and they can put the package together for you, if you will. That's what made them so amazing individuals. Right?
So, brother, those 4 things would be the fard, obligatory. We cannot miss it. And in the wudu, those 4 things.
Yeah.
And the rest of the things are the sunnah, and if we miss it, my wudu would be complete?
Right. So there's a difference of opinion on that. So in the Hanafi school, I guess by Hanafi school because I studied it, these 4 things are obligatory. Washing the mouth, washing the nose, wiping the ears are all sunnahs. So if you miss it, you're okay. Then you can do those 4. Yeah. And but you lose out on reward, obviously, and stuff like this. But so other scholars have said that these other things, there's some other things that these are obligatory. At least for the Hanafi school, they can keep it there that you're okay to go with these 4 inshallah. The next thing we have is that thus who avoids doubtful matters clears himself in regards to his religion and honor. So clears himself means that what? Of being innocent, right? Being blameless, being not guilty, right? If he stays from these doubtful matters, he will not be guilty, he will not be blameworthy, he will not be obviously fall into any sin. Why does the Prophet say that he'll be innocent in terms of his religion? What does that mean? Because religion means that what? Something that's between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That between him and his Lord, there'll be no blame, right? You'll have no, what's we call it, guilt, of no type of, sin between him and his Lord. And what does it mean by between him and his honor, sorry? Because honor is something between you and what? And the people, right? So that in terms of you and the people, because people start talking, even though you shouldn't really focus too much on what people say about you, but, this brother, he eats this type of food, or this brother, he doesn't, he involves himself in these type of acts, or this sister does this, if you will, right? So here that you have that. I think there's a Anthony. Do you have this here? Oh, can you do that? Yeah, you can take this out. So in terms of how people speak about you and so forth, right? So in terms of clearing your honor. Here the Prophet ﷺ talking about clearing your honor. Like a lot of people say what? Don't worry about what people say about you. You ever heard that statement? Like, who cares what people say about you? So there's truth to that. But there's also, truth against that. Because if people are all speaking bad about you, guess what? There's the repercussion of that in society. There's repercussion of that through the walls of the community. So therefore, that has an issue there. But in general, yes, you should not necessarily worry about what people say about you and so forth. But still, that does have an impact of what how the society is functioning, how the masjid is functioning, and so forth. So you don't want to do things where it's going to cause an uproar, especially if you found doubtful matters. That's going to cause disunity within the community. But that has to take into consideration also, right? Because that's something that's very important to keep our community together, right? So it's kind of a balance, if you will, there. A little bit. We can discuss that a little bit more. But anyhow, just want to touch on that point. So the Prophet said, falls into doubtful matters, eventually falls into that which is unlawful. So why, if you do fall into doubtful matters, that if you fall into doubtful matters, you end up falling into something that is unlawful. Why would it? It's because you're doing doubtful matters that you end up falling into something that's unlawful. Why do you guys think that? Why did the Prophet say that for?
Because you're not practicing taqwa, you're not being cautious of what you're doing. You're kind of just taking whatever you hear. You're not thinking like, okay, what if this is something that I'm doing wrong and I shouldn't be doing it?
Okay, very good.
It could lead you to eventually doing something that is wrong because you're not you're not conscious of the fact that law.
Good. That's a good point. Numair, what do you think?
Yeah.
I woke you up over there, right? So here the Prophet says that whoever falls into doubtful matters eventually falls into the unlawfulness. Why? Not practicing taqwa. What else? Why would you do doubtful matters will end up making you fall into, or you'll fall into things that are haram for?
Because there's no set boundary. So you don't know where to stop, what is right.
There you go. So why don't you know where to stop?
It's not clear.
Not clear, but also what your desires. I like this type of food. Or what, am I supposed to, someone's trying to get married. Can I go out with her to the coffee shop? It's a public place. We're not secluded. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, that makes sense. We can because everyone's around, so we're not going to kiss and whatever, right? But guess what? Oh, can you come over and meet my parents? Oh, guess what? Oh, now we can go see a movie together. It's still public, right? And guess what? And Shaitan just kind of holds your hand and goes down. And next thing you know, oh my God, she's pregnant. Oh my God, we kissed. Oh my God, we held hands. And next thing you know, boom. And that's happened before. It happens a lot of times, unfortunately, right? Because desires are very hard to pull back once it goes, right? You take 1 or 2 spoons of ice cream, guess what? Forget about it. That bowl is gone. You're not going to stop,
Depending
right?
on what ice cream it is.
You take that out of the freezer, you're like, I'm just going to take a spoon. Next thing you know, you're like,
Just one cookie.
right?
If it's Napoleon, I'm like,
That's why I've always cautioned my wife said, can I have a spoon of what you're eating? Well, here, just take it. Forget about it. It's going to buy it on my own. Why are you asking me for a spoon for it? Right? That's not going to, your spoon ends up being like 4 spoons, right? And so that's it. It's hard to pull back desires, right? So here the scholars have said, what makes that person fall into haram, number 1, is that the Prophet is trying to say that if you practice doubtful matters, that is haram. If you just practice doubtful matters, nothing that haram, but doubtful, that's your habit, that's what you do, then guess what? That is haram itself. Why? Because you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. Right? I could tell you okay, let's leave like that. Let's not make it too long.
It's like the same with Allah says in the Quran to stay away. It's like as far away from zina as possible. Right? So zina, so then they take it to the extent of don't touch people of the opposite sex because that could lead there.
Exactly. Allah SWT says in the Quran, "La taqrabu zina." He said, don't commit adultery. He said, don't come close to adultery. Right? Don't just start talking to him or talking to her and looking at pictures online because guess what? You'll go down the street, right? Shaitan will bring you down. And also, the one thing we understand is that doubtful matters, like Sister mentioned, will lead you into the haram. Right? Hard to pull back the reins when you're already running at 50 miles per hour, right? So that's what's also meant there. Then it says it's like a shepherd whose pasture is around a sanctuary, but grazes all in. What's a sanctuary? We said like a safeguarded place, a protected place, a preserve. Grazes all in that he comes so close to entering it, and then what? He falls into it. And the Prophet is amazing, right? When he teaches with analogies. Well, we talked about this before. Analogies give you a very clear picture. And if you picture a shepherd, even though you guys are in Corona, so you might see this actually happening every now and then, right? So we have a lot of animals here to an extent. So we all know if you have a shepherd and he has a bunch of sheep, right? And what happens is like that land there is protected. You guys just eat from this, if you will. For all the sheep's not going to understand what you're saying, right? What happens is that when one sheep goes over to that land, what does the shepherd have to do?
You have to get him for all the rest of them.
He has to go, hey, come back here, little guy. And guess what? Hey, go back, little guy. It's like little kids. You know, you're trying to take care of them. One runs over there. Once you pull one, it's hard, and that's what you're going to lose control of the situation. That's what the Prophet is saying, that when you come close to it, like the sister mentioned, you lose control. You can't pull back all the sheep because now you have desire. Your desire is running this and this. It's very, very hard. So you see how great that analogy is, right? The Prophet was mentioning. And that truly every king has a sanctuary, and truly the sanctuary of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is his prohibitions, meaning that what he has prohibited. So stay away from it, if you will, as much as possible, or else you're going to fall into it. Here then the Prophet said something very interesting, where he says, truly in the body there is a morsel of flesh. If it's whole, all the body is whole, and which is disease, all the body will be disease, truly is of the heart. Truly is the heart. Before I go to that. Why would the Prophet, the thing was something with Hadith and verses in the Quran, you read it, and then there's something really random that comes in after in the verse, and you're like, how does that relate to that? So here the Prophet was talking about, don't do it in doubtful matters. It's like a shepherd with sheep, comes close to the boundaries, and he can't hold himself back. And then the Prophet talks about the disease in the body, and that if it's in that, or that there's a morsel in the flesh in the body, and if it's okay, then the body will be okay. If it's disease, the whole body will be diseased, and that's the heart. How does that relate to what we just talked about before?
You have to take care of your heart, be cautious. You have to have a couple of like how you're treating your heart as well. You have to be.
So how does that relate? Go ahead. So how does it relate to the first part of the hadith?
You have to be cautious in how you're living. You have to take care of your heart to make sure that you don't disease it, basically. Like you're putting good things in.
Purify.
Yeah.
Purify. But once again, how does it relate to the first part?
Doing the unlawful makes you impure.
Sorry, say again?
Doing the unlawful things which are doubtful makes you impure. Your body doesn't stay as pure as.
Okay, good. I'd like to flip that wording, which you just said. That the reason why the Prophet is saying that is that what leads you into doubtful matters?
The heart.
Man, she looks good. She looks very cute. Right? That's a nice, right? She's like, I wonder if she's single. Right? Guess what? The heart comes to go. Get a little closer. Right? That food, I don't know, it smells so good. I don't know if it's made for this or made from that. I'm not too sure, but I'm hungry. Like the brother I know is eating Rice Krispie treats, we're like, brother, I have gelatin in that. He's like, seriously? Who told you? So while we're telling them, he just keeps on eating. I said, pretend that he didn't. Why? Because what? I'm hungry, right? It's very interesting. So hear that if this is pure and solid and solid, righteous, when the doubtful matter comes, he's like, I don't even want that. I trained myself already, so I don't even come close to that, right? But if it's corrupted, guess what? Everything. My hands want to touch, my mouth wants to eat, my feet want to walk over there, right? I want to watch these movies, right? I know, there might be some bad scenes. I know they have bad language, but you know what? It's okay. It's doubtful, it's okay, whatever. And next thing when that scene comes, you close your eyes when you used to do when you were 6 years old. Nope, you just go. It's going to be over in like 30 seconds. It's okay, it's fine. I'm adult, everyone knows this happens. Guess what? Now it's okay. Now you trained yourself what? Saying that it's fine to watch these movies. Big deal. Rated R, big deal, it's okay. Right? And now it's just the norm. Now guess what? The whole body now is what? Diseased. Before it was just your eyes. Oh, I don't want to watch that. It's okay. Now you just train yourself like, I'm going to eat popcorn while I'm watching it now. Right? And it's hard with movies because it's hard to pull out. You want to see the scene. You don't know what's going to happen after. I'm going to miss what the important part is. How much do I have to fast forward through it, etc. Right? These type of things. Music is another thing, right?
And the azan is calling on.
Huh?
The azan is calling on, so,
Yeah.
you can pray, a little while. 5 minutes.
There's a very, very super sad story, a true story, where a brother was addicted to pornography. And he was watching pornography. And he would do it in a way where it shows out how the heart is. His daughter came close to him, and so what he did, he moved his computer screen like this so his daughter wouldn't see what he's doing. So his daughter was trying to get his attention. And so he was kind of just pushing her like, wait, no, I'll come to you later. But he was so caught up in this. This is not even helpful. This is straight haram. That's not even coming close enough. And he was pushing her away. But little did he know that his daughter was actually choking. And he didn't want to look at her because he's so ashamed of seeing her. And looking at her innocent face. And then looking at, something so disgusting on your screen. And so he didn't do that. And to the point where he didn't even know that his daughter died there because she was suffocating. And then after it was done, then he looked and found out she was already on the ground blue. And he died because of that. And she died because of that. And imagine this is how Shaitan basically could treat people like this and take them down. How someone that's doubtful becomes into haram. Because before maybe he was just about swimsuit pictures and maybe just watching celebrities' dresses on, at the Oscars. You might think that, these examples are, facetious and extreme, but this is very, very practical. Right? People do this, right? And then they want more and want more, and it's hard to control people. Right? And that leads to something as terrible as that. Right? And that's why doubtful, you don't want to come back because like one spoon of ice cream is going to be the whole bucket, right, pretty soon. That's the same thing here. When you watch those pictures or like music too, if it's one other thing, it's very, very hard to pull back itself. And when you train yourself to finally get to that instance, that's something that's amazing. That's why purification of the soul is so important. That's why Imam Ghazali, rahimahullah, said something very beautiful. That he said it's obligatory for everyone to know the diseases of the heart, the spiritual diseases of the heart, and to cure them. As much as people know as the physical diseases of the heart. If you're unaware of your cardiovascular health, about blockages, right? About this happening, and you have your irregular heartbeat, and you have congested heart failure and fluids. What's that going to lead you to? If you don't take care of it, what's going to happen? You're going to die. You're going to get a heart attack sooner or later. I feel chest pain. Oh, big deal. It's okay. Let me eat another hamburger. Let me eat some more greasy fries. Guess what? Boom. You're going to fall. So he said the same thing about our spiritual nature of the heart. You should know the diseases of the heart. And everyone should study that. And scholars have written books on that. Like 20, 30 different type of diseases of the heart. Anger, lust, greed, hating death, if you will. All these type of things, love of the world. All these type of things the scholars have mentioned, these are called diseases of the heart. You should know them and how to cure them. And in the books they tell you how you need to cure that. Do this, if you will, give more charity, pray at night, whatever it might be. And then you'll see that you'll conquer some of these type of desires that you have in your heart, or disease, I should say, if you will. Right? So that's something that, like I said, if that's clear, then guess what? The whole body will be clear. Or if the heart's clear, clean yani, the whole body will be clear. And something just to say here, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say that you need to clean your heart? I'm going over time a little bit. We started a little late. If you don't mind, give me 5 more minutes. Why didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say clear your mind? So do we think with our heart or we think with our brain?
We think with our brain. Both.
What do you say, both? I'll give him the political answer. Dalen's very, very smart guy, right? So do we think with our hearts? Because everyone says that. Like people say, I love you, right? They do the heart, symbol, right? But is that something up here or that's something in here? Right? Why do people always talk about hearts? And first of all, why do they make it in that shape for? That's another thing, right? Our heart is not that shape, right? That's another issue. I'm not going to that really quick, right? So do we think with our hearts or do we think with our brain? Or what controls the body?
It's different situations we think with different things.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a business thing, you think with your brain. If it's family matters or something, you think with your heart.
Okay.
Sometimes you think with both. Sometimes you don't use either.
The majority of the world says right? All right, it's going to take over this country. Just want to take over the country. I don't care if my heart thinks it or if that's logical, right? That's true. So here we have a verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فتكون لهم قلوب يعقلون بها أو آذان يسمعون بها فإنها لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب والتي في صدور. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says So had they not traveled through the earth, right, and see like what we did with the Pharaoh, what we did to this country, this people and that people, when they just, they didn't follow their prophet. So had not they traveled through the earth, and don't they have hearts by which to reason? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, don't they have qulub ya'qilun, from the word aqala. It means, we call it in the mind, we call it in Arabic, we call it aql, and you have a brain, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, don't they have hearts that they use it to think, to make reason? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that what the hearts are making reason, right? And don't they have ears which they can hear the message of the prophets? For indeed, it's not the eyes that are blind, but the hearts are blind. And within the chest, if you will, right? So that's, it's something very interesting that this brother, I trust this brother, I didn't look it up myself, but he said that there's cases when people have open heart surgery, heart transplants, and they put a heart of someone else inside another body. With this verse, it becomes very interesting. And he said it's been found that when they put a heart transplant of someone else's body in that new person's body, that person starts liking things that other persons started liking. Vanilla ice cream, and I never liked vanilla ice cream, so that person starts thinking like, you know what, I had this taste for vanilla ice cream all of a sudden, right? It's amazing that the heart, they said the heart has memory to it.
Yeah.
Called cardiovascular or cardiovascular memory or something.
My friend, she has a heart transplant, and she said, I never had the coffee before, but after getting the heart transplant, she's, craving for the coffee.
Subhanallah, that's
I
odd.
watched a video, saw a video as well from Hamza Yusuf, and he was saying that they found like neurons to be in the heart, like there are in the brain.
Yeah.
So they kind of see that the heart is able to think as well. It has the same types of neurons.
Subhanallah. Right, that's amazing. Right. That's something the doctors won't say like, oh no, you just like coffee now. No, the heart doesn't do anything. They'll totally avoid that.
But like certain emotions, like when you feel certain emotions, you can feel, in your heart, like there's definitely a feeling there.
Right. We know the heart has this thing. When you see a little kid fall down on the ground, what does everyone do? It's not because you say in your mind, oh my gosh, he might have broke his nose, he must be feeling pain. No one does that. It's just that your heart just gives like, oh my God, poor little guy.
Your heart just drops.
I always say your heart drops, exactly. Why do we say that for? You don't say your mind drops, right? You don't want your mind to drop, put it back in, right? But you say, oh my God, my heart dropped for that. Oh, my heart is so heavy for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting that we talk about these type of things, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that if this is clean, then guess what? Because we said your heart is your central processing system for what? The limbs, right? Why do I smile for? My heart's saying that, hey, this is my fellow brother's coming, right? Let me smile in his face, right? That's what it is. You don't process that in this over here. That comes from the heart itself, right? So that's what it's saying here. That's why the Prophet said that if this is clean, then guess what? The limbs will be clean. The feet will be clean. The eyes will be clean because the heart is all directing that. That's why we always say somebody, when I tell people that, you should forgive your family for what they did to you or your friends. And they say, you know what? Hey, that guy cusses me out. That guy stole money from me. I went to him and I shook his hand and said, Salaam alaikum, and he didn't say anything to me. Or he said, you get lost or go to Jahannam, right? Go to hell, right? So here I tell the brother, you know what? You give what's in your heart and let the other person give what's in their heart. But you give what's in your heart. And that person, they'll give you whatever is in their heart, and then you know what's in their heart, and that's it. But you have this, don't worry, you just give what's in your heart. Don't worry about what's in other people's heart. That's something they need to work. You only be accountable for what you do, if you will. You understand that? So alhamdulillah, see some very beautiful part. You get a little spiritual taste from this last part of this hadith here. So that's the last thing, alhamdulillah, that we wanted to go over. One last thing, there's a couple points I want to make. I'll just make one last thing here. Is that what we learn from this hadith is that there's a principle we have in Islam called sad al-dhira'a. Sin, da, and the, ra, alif, hamza, ayn. What is sad al-dhira'a? Means blocking the means to evil. That from this hadith, we pick up a principle we have in Islam, we call it qawaid fiqhiyah, the general principles that we have in Islam, where we said that one of the main principles we have in Islam is blocking the means to evil. That anything that will lead to evil, guess what? Islam wants to block it before, like weeds in your backyard. If you just cut off the top, what happens? Next week, what's going to happen? But if you get down to the root, pull it out, then you're not going to see that weed again next week, right? So you want to block that means to evil, meaning that's the reason why when sisters wear hijab, some people say, why don't men just control their desires? Why do women have to do this for? They can walk around in a bikini. It's the guys that have to control it. People say this, right? So no, but if there's evil that be done, if we could block that by maybe having people dress properly, and yes, telling the guys to lower their gaze, then we'll do that, if you will. Some people say, hold on, I can drink a little bit of alcohol here. I'm not going to get drunk. I could do this every day, and I'll drive better than you guys can drive. But what? Since I might lead to what? Evil? Islam says, nope, not even a drop. We're not doing it. When we all know 100%, if you drink that, no one here is going to get drunk. But taking drugs, oh, let's one little puff, like Clinton said, right? Without inhaling, right? Then what? No, we won't even let you do that. Because that is blocking the means to what? A bigger evil of you getting addicted and all that type of stuff, right? So you have this very, very conscious, you have this very big theme we see in the Islamic principles and rulings and so forth. So one of these are general rules that we take from this hadith. Any last comments or questions before we go? Was this hadith beneficial?
Yeah.
One thing you see that Imam Nawawi, rahimahullah, remember I told you, wanted to pick hadith that was the foundation of the religion. I hope up to now you guys seen exactly what he meant by that. These are like main foundations you could build your religion on. And that's the reason why that's why his work has been so popular. Because these hadith are definitely, you don't see like hadith about you should smile to your brother, it's good to do this. Those hadith about virtues, that's another, but he wanted you to focus on the foundations of the religion itself, and that's why these hadith are so amazing, and that's why it made it so popular amongst the Muslim world. Tayyib, inshallah, if there's no other questions.
One question.
Go ahead.
Our Muslim world, is becoming corrupted, and this is what we explain it now.
Yeah.
So how to, give the message to them,
I always say, sorry, I lashed this one right in my eye. I would like to say, I don't think the Muslim world is becoming corrupted. I think it's been corrupted for very long. But,
Slowly kind of
getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Yeah, definitely. But one thing I would say is that, and maybe because I'm in the field of education, but I would like to think that education is what will solve the issues. Right. One thing we say in America, the more educated people, that's why in America we have this big emphasis of people going to college and studying. Right? Because the more smart people that we have in society, first of all, it's a capitalist system, so more money the country will make, and we have more inventions and more technology and better medical advancements and so forth. But in Islam, we have the same thing. Because our religion was founded on what first verses of the Quran?
Iqra.
It wasn't worship. It was read, because that will get you to the worship. Because if you read and understand why you need to worship, then you will start worshiping. It's like when the parent comes to me and says, Shahid, can you speak to my kid and tell him how he needs to pray? Like he needs to pray and he needs to start praying now. No, if I tell him he needs to pray, he's not going to pray. But if I explain to him why he needs to pray, then he'll pray. Why he needs that prayer to be successful in this world and hereafter, then he might start praying. But if I tell him pray, what do we do? Everyone's like, I don't want to pray. But if I convince them, then guess what? You might not know that, if you will. So I believe that our Muslim leaders, our general Muslim laymen out there, if you will, within our population, don't come to class. Look how much we have here in this class right now, right?
Yeah.
And don't educate themselves. And so that's why we have bad Muslim practices. That's why we have people saying that I don't like doing business with Muslims. I'd rather have to do business with non-Muslim. That's sad people make that statement. Why? Because people don't know the etiquettes of Islamic business practices. Right? We have a whole book on fiqh of business. How you're supposed to run your business. How can you do loans? How can you do transactions, etc. But they don't study that. That's why Omar Rahimahullah said that I won't allow people in my marketplace who have not studied the fiqh of business pretty much, know that the rulings of it, because they're gonna oppress people, right? If they don't know what they're supposed to do. So I think that's the answer to your question, that we have to get education back. I think slowly it's coming back. Yeah, and we finally see we have people going over and studying now, and there's more a little bit more scholars that are coming out. And so this is I think very, very important. And so, but education even within the Muslim population is still not something that's very high. We tell people come to class, they're like, come to community picnic, okay.
Yeah.
Why? Because the food. We've been a community of food. And not
for brunch, there will be
exactly.
200 people.
Yeah. And that's what American society has taught us. That it's about food, and us Muslims, we bought into it. And that's all our gatherings are about food now, unfortunately, and not really about education. But anyhow, and it's hard. It's not like you have to study all the time. There's time and place for everything. So, left comments or questions before we go?
I have one question. It's not related to this, maybe. I know we are born Muslims. We inherited our traditions and all those things. I'm responsible and answerable to what all I do, and the knowledge I have, or what should I say? The research I do, but
Right.
am I held responsible for not getting that knowledge?
Are you responsible for not getting along? Do we?
Yes, like if he is a non-Muslim, it's not his fault that he's born in a different religion. So how much am I responsible to get that knowledge and follow this path? And how much is that person who is born in a different religion responsible?
Right.
Because it's not by choice, it's by birth.
Right.
This is what you
Right.
got.
So I was going to go over this point, but I decided not to go over it, and now I'm going to come over. I'll now talk about it now. So the scholars have said, and there's a Creed class going on right now in Garden Grove, but the scholars have said that it's obligatory upon every Muslim to know their foundations of their belief. It's not good enough for you to follow what someone else tells you. When it comes to foundations of belief, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? What is his attributes? Who the prophets are? Who are the angels? Who are the books? All these type of things, if you will, right? That, they said that everyone's responsible to study that. You can't say, you know what, my parents said there was one God, so therefore I followed it. That's not enough, right? That's good when you're like 6 years old and 7 years old. But everyone's responsible to study that and get to that understanding. Now, in terms of fiqh, in terms of rulings of prayer, and rulings of business transactions, rulings of marriage and divorce and all that stuff, you're only responsible to follow the opinions of others who have studied. Because we can't tell everyone to go study books of fiqh. No, that'll never work. So those who are responsible for that, those guys have to study, or those girls have to study, men and women, and they have to, and they're obligated to teach the masses. And if they don't, then it's their next in Yawm al-Qiyamah, right? So a normal layman Muslim, it's obligatory for them at least to learn their foundations of the principles of their religion, of basic faith, the tenets of faith, I should say, right? Allah, the prophets, angels, day of judgment, qadr, and so forth like that. Now, otherwise, it's up to the layman not to study about how should I pray, where do I put my hands out, right? How much do I give out in zakat? How do I calculate my zakat? It's not up for you to go read the book and research and what opinion did Abu Hanifa say and Imam Shafi'i. No. What's obligatory among laymen is to go to the scholar and ask him, how much do I need to pay? Don't give me the proofs. I don't want a verse in the Quran. If you want to, then you could ask for that. No problem. But Imam Sahib or, the sister, so you study, how much should I pay? I have 10,000 in my bank account. Okay, you need to pay X amount of. Okay, thank you. That's all that layman is obligatory for, if you will. I'm having this issue with my spouse, right? What am I supposed to, Islamically, is this my right or not? You can give me the verse, you can give me the hadith, but what is my obligation to him? What is his obligation to me? Let me know. He's supposed to tell you, he's supposed to do this to you, he's supposed to treat this to you, he spends this much for you, you have to do this. Okay, thank you, that's my responsibility. Now, if you don't ask, guess what? Now you're sinful. I never asked about how am I supposed to pray, I just prayed anyway. I know, I just treat my husband this way, I treat my kids this way, we spend this much, if you will, we eat this type of food. I don't care, I don't want to learn, I don't want to ask, because if I ask, I'm going to be in more trouble, and then I have to